All information contained in this podcast is general in nature and does not consider your individual circumstances. You should consider the appropriateness of this information with regards to your individual objectives, financial situation, and needs. Welcome to Sharing More Than the Sheets, a podcast to help you and your partner make better financial and lifestyle decisions so that you can both focus on the things that you love. I'm your host, Michael Khouri, financial planner, green thumb, husband, and just dad. We've all heard the saying that laughter is the best medicine. And in my life as a dad and as a business owner, and even in my job, dealing with various circumstances that are thrown my way, I sometimes find it very hard to be positive especially when I've had a really rough day or things are getting really stressful. And sometimes it could be the smallest thing that makes me laugh. It could be me just literally just thinking of something or seeing something, and suddenly I feel so much better. I really wanted to talk about this experience of laughter. And when I think about laughing, when I think about entertaining and putting smiles on people's faces, there's literally only one person that comes to mind, and that is John Malakos. For those that don't know John, he is also known as Johnny The Jester, and I'm sure he has many other names as well. But here in Brisbane, he's quite popular. Whenever there's a children's event or some sort of event, Johnny literally seems to be there. So, Johnny, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me. Looking forward to it.
Do you prefer John or Johnny, by the way?
Yeah, John's fine. Johnny, yeah, I get both. So that's fine.
I mean, you've been doing this for a while, haven't you, John?
I've been performing for children and adults since 1996. So it's around 25 years or so.
Wow.
Probably 26 years or so. A long time.
Yeah, and I'm guessing it's something that you're passionate about, obviously.
Oh, of course, yeah. Just I get driven by it's a real rush, to be honest with you. Performing in front of people and having them, giving you a big round of applause when you're finishing, and a pat in the back. Yeah, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, it is, and I'm assuming it's one of those. It does take a lot of planning as well, because for those that haven't seen your shows before, can you just briefly explain that as well? Because I mean, we work with different types of animals and magic, and there's so many different elements.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I generally do a 1 hour show if we're talking about children. So that would consist of a 45-minute magic show, and involving that is doves and rabbits that reappear and disappear in a comical fashion, of course. And then on top of that, I also perform with pythons too, and do python demonstrations and things like that. And then once all that's done, I then make balloon animals for the children as well. So, yeah, there's quite a fair bit involved. But, yeah, it's an action-packed 1 hour's worth of fun for all ages.
Yeah,
great.
I'm sure. And I've seen a couple of the shows, and it's your passion is definitely there. And and I know for a fact that you've done other types of, I guess, events before, but you've worked in particular with people going through rough times in their life as well. Could you probably share a bit of that experience as well? Because when I talk about laughter being the best medicine and getting your mind off things, again, like I gave my situation as a small example, but there are much more serious examples, obviously, where you can play a part in helping these people.
Yeah, sure. Well, for a long time, many years that is, I have been a regular at the children's hospitals. And, that could be, from various days of the week that I can just pop on in and entertain some children. I've met some amazing families over the years. And I guess the sad part about that is, there are, unfortunately, many children and adults and families who have particular terminal issues, I would say. And unfortunately, I've lost a few kids along the way. And it's pretty hard when you want to smile and brighten up a room, and you walk into a room with four walls and it's just doom, if that makes any sense. And you try and be positive, and you don't know if you'd make a difference in their lives at all. You assume that you do. And sometimes you might see a little break in their character, where they may smirk for a second, and then obviously you leave the room, and it's the reality hits to that family again, and it all sets in for them. So Yeah, it can be a bit tricky. I know I have cried many times after leaving, some hospitals and bits and pieces. And being a parent, it just brings all that to life, of course. So yeah,
No, it would it would, and the thing is, it's one of those things where I mean, you being there and being in these people's lives and doing what you do, I guess it's got two sides to it, doesn't it? Because there is the entertainment factor, but there's also that factor that you talked about of, being there to help someone take their mind off a
the
situation.
emotional, yeah, yes, definitely.
And just in your opinion, and I know you're not a laughter scientist or anything like that at all, but just in your opinion, why do you think it is so important? And even just relating it back to our own lives, like in your opinion, what do you think is how important do you feel it is
Well, I think you just got to look at the children around you, like your own children, and just see how much they enjoy life and having fun. For children, they have little to no responsibilities at all. As far as, I know with my daughter, her responsibilities are making the bed in the morning, and from there on in, it's just fun. Yes, she goes to school, and I guess in life, as we get older, we're all conditioned to, and we hear the word, no, you can't do this, and no, you can't do that, and you have to do this, and you have to perform there. And so we effectively lose all those childlike behaviors that we all look as adults and reflect on our children and think, wow, that's beautiful how they laugh. But yeah, like I said, we condition and train ourselves out of that. So it's nice to walk into, an adult set, for instance, and providing some fun comedy for them and watching them react, because the day-to-day grind is quite hard. There's people out there that work 40 plus hours, 60 plus hours, and they get home and it's just that constant merry-go-round where they just don't stop and enjoy life as well.
Yeah, that's so true, because you are right. Like, especially in this society, I mean, I don't know if it's just me getting older or if it's just time progressing and technology and all the rest of it, but I feel like we're working more hours than ever. We're very rarely switching off our brains because of technology and emails and all the rest of it. And life is just getting harder. It's funny, like back in the days, life was simpler. There was
Yes.
less solutions to our problems, yet we were happier. And I don't
Yes.
get it. I don't get what it is. And it's interesting that you mentioned the condition side of things, because I mean, I was doing a bit of a Google search this morning on laughter, and a stat that I found was that rats and monkeys laugh. I had no idea that rats and monkeys laughed, but but hey, if they can laugh, then we can laugh, So, but
Yeah.
and the thing is, apart from the health benefits, there's so many other things. Like, apparently, laughter even controls your brain. Like, that's why sometimes you'll smile when you see someone else smiling as well. Like, it's something that's there, but there are some people, like I know there are people that I know who I have never seen laugh, and I'm sure there's it's such a deep topic, but it could be somebody could be going through something personally, or
Hmm.
or they're just that type of person that just doesn't like to smile. But I know many of us, me included, will forget to even will forget how important it is to life. And I won't really, watch many comedy movies, and I'll go through a phase where all I watch is like action movies of people getting blown up, basically. And I won't really let's go to comedy shows, or even socializing in general. Like, we go through phases where we don't catch up with our friends and we don't really get to talk about things and we don't get to laugh. And then when you do laugh, you just realize, oh my God, when was the last time I laughed like this?
That's right. Yeah, so true.
These podcasts have been brought to you by Better Financial Planning Australia. To book a free 15-minute phone chat, visit betterfinancialplanning.com.au. And the other thing as well is, do you have any particular experiences that you can share where you feel like you've made a personal difference on someone's life, where whether it's yourself or whether it's just laughter in general, but is there a particular experience that just pops up that comes to mind first when you think about this whole
Okay.
laughter
Well,
medicine?
Yeah, okay. I've had plenty. So yeah, I think the ones that Okay, so I do perform as well for lots of different charity organisations, and I can tell you that there are plenty of respite centres or refuge centres and things like that where they house escaped victims of domestic violence and all that type of stuff. And you can be introduced to someone who has just escaped from domestic violence only a day or two earlier, and the signs are visible within the whole family. And to see that the child there who has just been reclused and in their own little shelter or where they don't want to smile, and all of a sudden they're, as children should, be opening up and smiling and engaging and being interactive again. Yeah, that's something that, for instance, a clinical person in admin who ultimately takes care of these people is not able to do in such a fast format, if that makes any sense. So yeah, it is nice. It's nice to be able to help and contribute to the system and help out these families in need.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And again, it's one of those moments like what you said. You'd leave, and it just stays in your mind. And
yeah, so I've hopped in my car many a times and just had goosebumps, and they don't see that there because when I'm performing, I have this the personality that I'm bright, I'm funny, and I'm not, those thoughts are not part of who I am, but the real John definitely feels all those emotions and all the sadness and all that type of stuff that goes with it. But unfortunately, Johnny the Jester is not there to show those emotions.
yeah. And what don't you think people laugh sometimes? Like, is it? Do you think people are some are just literally just cranky people that just don't like laughing, or do you think it's, or they don't let themselves relax as well?
I think it's got a lot to do with your upbringing and the type of environment you grew up in. Definitely, whether your parents enjoyed life. If your parents had were very serious and was all just work, then I think that would definitely flow down to the younger generation, I believe. But I don't know the answer to why. And that's the thing too. I can perform two shows and the scripts are exactly 100% identical, and I can still get two different outcomes at times too. And it boggles me why and how that joke worked in the room A, but then failed so miserably in room B. And it's the same joke, and potentially the same age group of the audience as well.
Yeah. Well, apparently, someone's sense of humor could be genetic. There are studies done on that as well to say that, and that makes. But part of it could also be just due to nurture. The way we were raised as well. Because I seem to have the same type of dodgy dad jokes as my dad, for example. My son already has caught onto it already, so he'll crack a joke which is not funny at all, but people will just say he's got my sense of humor already. So it's there, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing as well is like it's like as anyone listening to this episode, the whole purpose of us talking about this is I just wanted to sort of create that awareness just of how important it is, or probably that reminder of how important it is that laughter is. And is there anything in particular that, like, just personally for yourself, are there anything that makes you laugh? Movies? Is there anything that if you ever need that uplift, is there anything that you do it personally just to sort of?
Not really. So normally when I finish performing, I would drive home, and the first thing I'll do is I'd turn the radio off. The sound of kids, screaming in your ears and just wanting your all and all that type of stuff can be quite draining as well physically, because when you're on as a children's entertainer, you've got to be on at 100%. Not 80% or not 60%. So for me, my outlet, and I'm very thankful of this, that I'm always performing. Every second day I'll have a function on or whatever it may be. So my release and to be able to smile and enjoy life is definitely being surrounded by so many children on a regular basis. And particularly during the school holidays, I could see potentially 500 children in a day, 1,000 children in a day. And in each instance, I've actually said hello to every single one of them. You don't say hello to all of them as a group. I acknowledge every single one of them individually. So I'm sure there's people out there who, don't have the luxury of doing what I do, and therefore they need that other outlet of seeing or listening to a comedy podcast or something of that nature.
All my jokes on this podcast.
That's right.
Yeah. But no, that's so true. You get your laughter and your kick, I guess, comes from your job, which is amazing. For me, it's probably playing with my kids half the time. I just find myself just laughing at the most random things.
Yeah.
But again, it all comes down to, I don't know, I think like what we said earlier, I think allowing ourselves to just relax and allowing us to enjoy the moment in these situations, and not, because some people, they either have a phobia of laughing or they don't want to. I think what you do is really, really cool, John. Like, I know for you see it as a job and it's just what you do, but it's just listening to these experiences, and just when I've been following you lately on Facebook, just seeing what you get up to. It's nice, and it has such a positive impact on people's lives. And again, this episode, if anyone can take anything away from it, it's just to set that time aside so that they can allow themselves to just chill and just let loose. It's could be catching up with friends, could be a movie, podcast, like what you said, but it's very, very underestimated. And just on that note as well, I just have to drop in this fact as well. I had no idea about this, but apparently humans laughed well before they spoke. So again,
right, there you are.
I don't know how true that is, but I don't know how that makes any sense. I'm just picturing people just laughing at each other, trying to communicate with each other through laughter. But it's apparently we did it. If somebody wanted to get in contact with you, or if they want to follow what you do, what would you say is the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, they could quite easily Google search Johnny the Jester, and you'll find my website, and as well as that, through all the social media outlets, Facebook and Instagram and things like that. But yeah, majority of the work that I get, and by all means, I'm happy for anyone to contact me that way. But yeah, the majority of the work that I get is word of mouth. That's the biggest form of advertising that I do.
Yeah, no, thank you. And also I'll put your website at the bottom of this podcast in the description as well.
Great.
And finally, I like to finish off my episodes with a dad joke. Oh. So this one I've got is, what do you call your grandma's number on speed dial? Instagram.
Instagram. I love it. That's very good.
Yeah, or Instagram it should be. So it was all right. Yeah. Have you got any up your sleeve by any chance? Or?
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm actually Greek, which I know you know. That's one of my little Greek jokes that I have, and I'm sure you would like this one too, is as a young Greek boy, I used to hate facial hair, but then it grew on me. So that's and you can use that. I know.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good one. It's good. I think it also applies to my daughter's got it already, so it's and she's 5 for the record, everyone. Yeah, but we can't avoid it. No. But thank you, John. I really appreciate your time. And it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you about this topic, and it's again hopefully highlighted the importance and the need for people just to laugh more and just be happy.
Yeah, great. Thank you. I appreciate it, and I enjoy doing it, and I look forward to hearing it and linking up to the other podcasts that you've done as well. Looking forward to it.
Sweet. Thank you. Thanks for joining us on Sharing More Than the Sheets. Please make sure you subscribe to be updated with future episode releases, and feel free to share this episode with any friends or family that you think it might benefit. Please visit us at sharingmorethanthesheets.com.au to submit questions or requests for future podcast topics. These podcasts have been brought to you by Better Financial Planning Australia. To book a 15-minute phone chat, visit betterfinancialplanning.com.au.